Hey guys, Brian Lapeer here, the Plaid Pastor. I am currently somewhere in the Moores Creek State Forest in Rockbridge County. And when I say somewhere, I mean I don't know where. I thought I'd scope out a trail today, and so I started up a fire road that said foot traffic welcome, and eventually it got to the National Forest boundary. And then I just followed the boundary up to the top of there. Well, you really can't trust me. About, let's see here. I can actually tell you that, I've come down 600 feet so far, and I'm not done. So 600 feet back up that way is where I've come from, and now I'm just wandering in the general direction of where I know that fire road to be. So it brings to mind a story. Last week, I went to the VA hospital to visit somebody, and I went to the room that they had him listed for, and he wasn't there. So I went to the nurse, and I asked, gave them the nurse the person's name, and she said, oh, he's been moved, and she gave me the new room number. And when she gave me the new room number, I looked at her with that look of, I don't know where that is. Because I didn't. I mean, I could figure it out, and I thought to myself, you know, she could have easily said, well, go down there, push this on the elevator, turn right, and turn left, and given me some directions. But she did not do that. Instead, she looked at her coworkers and said, I'll be right back. I'm going to show him. At which point, she got up, and she took me for a walk. And we went down the hallway. We got on a different elevator, and then we got off on a floor. I think it's the first floor. Yes, it had to be. Maybe. Anyway. And then she took me on another turn, down another hallway. And then she turned again, down another hallway. And then I think we got on a second elevator. I really wasn't paying attention. I was trusting her. And eventually, we made a turn, and she looked and pointed and said, just follow that hallway. He's right down there on your left. And sure enough, he was. My point is, I am back on the trail that I originally hiked. My point is that she had two options. One was to tell me where to go, and two was to show me where to go. And she chose to show me. How much of a difference does that make? You've ever had that experience in maybe a hardware store or Walmart or whatever. You're looking for something and you don't know where it is, and you ask somebody, and they've always got two options. They can either tell you where to go, or they can take you there themselves. And it's always easier when they say, here, I'll show you, and then they lead you there. What about life? What about faith? What about my role as a minister? I've probably been guilty at times of simply telling people where to go and what to do, how to live, what rules to follow, things of that sort. And I've just said, you should go do this. But sometimes, hopefully more often than not, I've done the second option. And instead of telling them, I've shown them. Instead of saying, hey, you should do mission work, I've done it. I've taken them with me and shown them. Instead of saying, you should be kind to the poor, you should be kind to the marginalized, you should be kind to the people that no one else is kind to, hopefully I've modeled that. And I've been kind to those people, and I've shown that. I mean, ultimately, as a minister in our world today, we don't need more people to tell us how to live. We need more people to show us how to live. That's what Jesus did. By the way, I wasn't on my trail yet, but I see it up here. It'll be pretty exciting. You know, that's what Jesus did. Jesus didn't just look at his disciples and give them some commands and say, good luck and go to it. Jesus gave them some commands that we've been studying in the Sermon on the Mount and other places. All right, looky where we are. We're back on the trail. Jesus didn't just tell his disciples what to do. He gave them instructions about how to live, and then he went out and did it. So, here's my hope today for me. My prayer is that I would live my life in such a way that I'm not just telling people how to live, I'm showing them as well. My prayer for you would be the same if you're a believer, is that you would spend less time on social media or in your car shouting through the window or talking to the radio or TV, telling people how they should live. Spend less time doing that and spend more time showing them how they should live. Because really, the world's looking at Christians today and they're saying, if you can't live that way, why should I? And that's a fair question. That's a very honest question, and we should think about that. So, I don't know the nurse's name at the VA hospital who showed me the way to my friend's room. I do know that it made it a whole lot easier, that I was very thankful, and I have a lot of respect for her. Even though I may never see her again, I have a great respect and appreciation for her because she took time out of her day to do something for me. This week, God's probably going to give you an opportunity to show somebody how they ought to live. And if you think that you know how people are supposed to live, and if you think you know how things are supposed to be, spend a little less time telling them and try to spend a little bit more time showing them. So that's it. We'll leave it for that. Here I am wandering through the woods. When we started this video, I was up there somewhere. I was way up there, and I came down and down and down and down and finally got on this trail, which I recognize because there's the creek. I bet that's Moore's Creek. And now we're going to follow this part here back to my truck. Well, I appreciate your time. If you so choose, click on that like or subscribe button and share this or do something like that with it. I appreciate your time. Be reminded.